It's quite hard to recover from the John Jones versus Dominic Reyes robbery of a decision. Dominic Reyes clearly won that fight, rounds 1, 2, and 3. However, let's talk about Derrick Lewis versus Ilir Latifi and try and put that stuff in the past at least. Derrick Lewis versus Ilir Latifi was a very close fight. No one saw the fight going this way coming in. No one at all saw the fight going this way. But Ilir Latifi proved, once again, that there is skill that isn't at heavyweight, that is at lower weight classes. You know, Ilir Latifi's takedowns, he tried the single legs over and over and over again, and he did very well for himself. Against Derrick Lewis, to do that to Derrick Lewis, you join a very select club of heavyweights. I think on another given day, Ilir Latifi could have won that fight. This was a true split decision for me, you know? John Jones, Dominic Reyes was a unanimous decision. That's the craziest thing ever. One judge gave it 4 rounds to 1. This was a clear split decision to me, because what you were ranking was, in a split decision, the reason there's a split decision is because both guys could win on different terms. That's why there should be a split decision. And the different terms of this fight was, who wins round 3? Ilir Latifi took Derrick Lewis down, but did nothing there. He landed some shots, but they weren't significant blows of ground and pound. He was never posturing up and blasting Derrick Lewis with big powerful shots, but he had ground control, and he got himself a takedown. Derrick Lewis poured on damage after damage in the last round, in the last minute, and the last minute and a half. Do you give that the round? You know, he landed the way more significantly damaging shots. I think you give Derrick Lewis that last round based on the amount of pressure he put on, because he was doing well at the start of the round. He landed a good flying knee, which is a very effective weapon for him this entire fight, but I feel like it was actually his downfall. It was landing. Don't get me wrong, it was landing, and I know why he was throwing it was because Ilir Latifi is a very short man compared to him, so Derrick Lewis doesn't even have to have his knee up that high to score a flying knee to the face. Like, Derrick Lewis can throw a flying knee which would be to Ngannou's body, and it would land on Ilir Latifi's chin. It's a very important technique, but what it was doing for Derrick Lewis, it was leaving him vulnerable in the clinch with Ilir Latifi, which is where he shouldn't have been. If he would have played the range game and won bombs with his hands, I think he would have had a much better success in the fight, but he kept thrusting himself into Ilir Latifi, and Latifi would just hold on and use some of that strength. Ilir Latifi's a very fucking strong man. That's what we learned today. Great single leg attempts, none of them were working, so he changed to a high crotch, a body lock, and went from there with a sweep. He was very good. He landed some good takedowns. The second round was clearly Ilir Latifi's. The first round was clearly Derrick Lewis's. Third round, Latifi got on the ground, had some good dominance and control, but no damage. You know, he never postured up, and although he did land strikes, they were shots like he was in half guard and he was landing body shots from half guard. Those aren't significant. You know, those are counted as total strikes, I would imagine. You know, those aren't the significant strikes that we're looking for. And then obviously Derrick Lewis at the end of the round had Latifi in all kinds of trouble backing up away from him, while fucking Lewis poured on the fucking damage over and over and over again for about 1.5 minutes of absolute fury. Derrick Lewis wins that round, in my opinion, and Derrick Lewis wins the fight. And I think it wasn't the best performance from Derrick Lewis. Going forward in the heavyweight division, when you've got guys like DC, and you've got guys like Curtis fucking Blades, and you've got guys like Stipe Miocic who can wrestle as well, it's not the best for Derrick Lewis right now, after that fight, moving forwards, because the only option for Derrick Lewis to take on next, he's already beaten Volkov. The only option for Derrick Lewis next is Curtis Blades. And that would be a huge fight. That would be a feature fight of a pay-per-view any day of the week, or open up a pay-per-view, whatever you want to do with it. That's a great fight to have. And that's the only fight that would make sense next. You've got two guys in the top 5, both coming off wins, both not going to get title shots. Let's see what happens when you throw them in there together. That's the only fight that makes sense. And watching Ilir Latifi versus Derrick Lewis, the way Latifi was able to control him and take him down, Blades is going to do that. Blades is going to do that. And not only is Blades going to do that, but Blades is going to watch that fight and realise that maybe single legs aren't the best for Derrick Lewis, because he's so big and heavy and weighted top heavy, which means it's hard to topple him off one leg. You know what I mean? Because he could just... Derrick Lewis, if you're pushing him backwards, he can lean his body forward a little bit, and 50 pounds of weight is holding him against where you're trying to push him. You know what I'm saying? So I think Blades is going to watch that fight and realise, wait, I'm going to wrestle this guy, but what I'm going to do is get body locks, because Lewis isn't the best at getting double underhooks. I'm going to get the double underhooks, get a body lock, and take this guy for sweeps and suplexes. That's what Curtis Blades is going to try and do. And I feel like if Ilir Latifi can have you in half guard and be punishing you a little bit, Blades can have you in full mount and blasting your fucking head open, because Blades in reality is just a way fucking bigger man than Ilir Latifi, a way better wrestler in my opinion than Ilir Latifi as well. And this goes to show Lewis is very... I don't know what it is. Lewis has this thing when he's on the ground, and he did it against Blagojevinov as well, where when he does get up, he just gets up. There's no butterfly guard. There's no sweep. There's no maneuver of him giving up his back and then spinning out of it and creating a scramble. Lewis just gets up. And his judge, when the judge tells him how much time is left, with 1.5 minutes left, Lewis just stands up. And I get that this might be a cardio thing. But surely, Derrick Lewis, you can train to do that without having just over 1 minute left of a fight. You can train to do that multiple times in a round if you have to. But no, Derrick Lewis seems very dead set on the fact that he's going to get back up once and only once in a round. And when he does use the energy to get back up, he's going to make sure it's worth it by having there not be enough time left in the round for Latifi to control him again and get him down. I feel like that's what we're seeing here. I feel like with Lewis, he's in the best shape we've ever seen him. If there's going to be a time that he could potentially beat Blades, it would be now. He's in the best shape he's been. He's showing good fights. He's beaten good guys. Blagojevinov, he should have had a bit of an easier time against Ilir Latifi, which kind of shows us how good every division is skill-wise compared to the heavyweights. Because heavyweights, a lot of it is just power. You know, there's skill at the top in the Overeems, in the Stipe Miocic's, in the Daniel Cormier's, in the Curtis Blades. But after that, there's a big drop-off at heavyweight in terms of skill. And it feels like right now at heavyweight, it's kind of just like, who's more athletic, who's faster, and who can hit harder. Olenek should beat Walt Harris. Walt Harris beats Olenek. You know, everything dictates to me that Olenek should beat Walt Harris. Skill, credential, resume, experience. Walt Harris is bigger. He hasn't taken as much wear and tear. He's faster, and he's got a big punch. And that sometimes that can get you through at heavyweight. And it's worked for Derrick Lewis. Remember, this is a Derrick Lewis. He beat Volkov, but for a second of the fight. You know? He beat Volkov for 10 seconds. I feel like Lewis is very good. Blades will dominate him. Blades would really dominate him. And I would like to see Lewis maybe come in a little bit slimmer. He's getting there. Every single time he fights, he's in better shape. Come in a little bit slimmer next time against Blades, so you can use those get-ups a little bit more in the fight, a little bit more often. Use those get-ups to get back to your feet. But other than that, Derrick Lewis versus Curtis Blades on the feature fight of the pay-per-view of Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic 3, or Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 3. Have Derrick Lewis versus Curtis Blades as the feature fight. That way you have a guy that can step in on short notice if anything happens to the main event. And also you just get an amazing heavyweight fight in the meantime. Keeping Curtis Blades active, which is what we want for a young guy that's trying to develop his skills. Keeping Derrick Lewis active as well. Let's make that fight happen. Very lucky that Derrick Lewis got past Ilir Latifi, because that could have completely fucked up the entire division. Derrick Lewis gets it done. I'm sure that would have fucked up a lot of people's parlays as well, because I know a lot of people were betting on Derrick Lewis. Tough fight. I think we're learning more and more that this jumping up weight classes, your skill's better. And this jumping up from light heavyweight to heavyweight, I don't think people understand how much these light heavyweights are cutting. I think Latifi shouldn't have even came in as fat as he did. Latifi should have came in light heavyweight shape with no weight cut. And I feel like the only reason he did get a little bit fatter, and I feel like DC wanted to do the same at heavyweight, just come in at light heavyweight shape but no cutting weight. But the weight cut signifies discipline for a fighter, especially with Ilir Latifi and Derrick Lewis, when you're those big mesomorphs of guys that are kind of meant to be bulky. Like, they're built to be bulky. With the a lot of people have these introverted ribs. I don't think extroverted ribs or something like that, where their ribs poke out. DC has them. Edmund Shabazian has them. Built for mesomorphs. Literally built for mesomorphs. You're supposed to cover those up. That it's genuinely a theory that guys can't hold on to a lot of muscle mass when they have those inverted ribs. You know? That's the word, inverted. And I feel like we're seeing it more and more. Latifi has them as well. Latifi has weird arms. I don't know why I'm talking about Latifi this much like this. But either way, Lewis gets it done. Let's see him versus Blades next. And for Latifi, I don't know what's next for Latifi, to be honest with you. Is he going to stay at heavyweight? I'm not sure. He showed he can hang at heavyweight. Maybe we do Latifi versus Blagoy-Ivanov next. A little bit more similar in stature. A little bit more fair for Latifi in terms of size. Latifi-Ivanov. Actually, no, Ivanov's fighting Sakai. Who the fuck knows what we're going to do? But let's see what happens with Latifi. I don't know. He shouldn't hang his head low. He went to a split decision, arguably, with Derrick Lewis. Like, it could have gone to... Like, if it went to Latifi, I'd be like, oh, it went to Latifi. Okay. It went to Derrick Lewis. I went, okay. It went to Derrick Lewis. Could have gone either way. Hang your head up high, Ilir Latifi. You did very well. Very good performance compared to what people were expecting out of you. And Dominic Reyes got robbed. And I'm going to keep saying that until... I don't know until what. Until I get sick of it. Because people need to say it. Joe Rogan's not going to say it. Brendan Schaub's going to say that he thought that John won 3 rounds to 2 very clearly. Everyone's going to lie on the benefit of John Jones and having John Jones on their show. I don't have any fighters on my show. John Jones lost. John Jones is a cunt. Reyes won the fight. Goodbye. Click that button now. Like and subscribe. See you later.